Cold. Before anything else, you feel the cold. It seeps through your fingertips, through your skin, all the way down to your bones. When you open your eyes on a rocky shore in northern Norway, the world owes you nothing. Absolutely nothing. Your father is a farmer. His father was too. And if you're not careful, you'll die the same way, bent over the soil, hands roughened, your name never mentioned in a single saga. But this is 9th century Scandinavia. And here, the difference between being forgotten and becoming a legend is just one decision. One ship. One oar. One sword. So what if you had made that decision? What if you had been born on the shore of that fjord, in the middle of the Viking Age? What would you have become? You are 10 years old, and you wake with the first light of morning, but there is no alarm. What wakes you is your father's cough and the sound of animals in the barn. At the very bottom of Viking society are the thralls, the slaves. You can't go lower than them. You're lucky. You're the son of a free farmer, a Jarl. But freedom here is not a romantic concept. Freedom simply means you're responsible for your own hunger. Your days pass in the fields, on fishing boats, chopping wood. But every evening, something happens around the village's great fire. The old warriors talk. They speak of Odin, of Valhalla, of lands beyond the sea. And you listen. Every single word. At 8 you begin training with a wooden sword. At 12 you're already a better archer than your father. At 14, the oldest warrior in the village looks at you and says just one thing. You're ready for the oars. When you take your first step onto the longship, the vessel does not know you. No one does. You sit at the bottom, literally. Oarsmen are the least significant members of the ship. From morning to night, you row. Your hands bleed. The oars burn them raw, then they bleed again, then calluses form. This cycle continues for weeks. The hierarchy on board is clear. The most seasoned warriors sit near the prow. That is the place of honor. You're at the stern. The wind blows from there, the seawater crashes there. But you're learning. Every night you watch. How the experienced men row, how they react in a storm, how they interpret the orders of the captain, the Jarl. When you land on the English coast for the first time on a raid, your legs are shaking, but not from the cold this time. From excitement. And that day, when you enter battle with a real sword in your hand for the very first time, you realize something. The fear doesn't go away. But the fear is no longer enough to stop you. 3 raids. 4. 5. You return from each one carrying something. Silver, scars, experience. And most importantly, a name. You are no longer just an oarsman. You are a herdman, one of the Jarl's personal guards. This title didn't come for free. You saved someone's life, the Jarl's nephew, just as an English spear was about to drive itself into his shoulder. What does it mean to be a herdman? You eat at the Jarl's table. You guard his estate. In battle you stand in the front line, which is both honor and a heightened risk of death. Your pay is no longer just a share of the plunder. The Jarl is giving you land, small, but yours. And a name. People address you by it. That may sound like a small thing. But in this age, in these lands, having your name spoken means everything. Yet herdman status brings its own chains. You must carry out the Jarl's every order. When a dispute breaks out with a rival clan, you're among the first to go. And if the Jarl is wrong, you go down with him. Years have passed. The first strands of grey have crept into your hair. You are now a hussar, a commander who recruits warriors from his own region, equips his own ship, plans his own expeditions. You owe loyalty to the Jarl, but you are no longer standing in his shadow. You have your own. Being a hussar teaches you just how heavy leadership truly is. 30 men are looking to you. Their families are looking to you. One wrong decision could drag all of them under. You're no longer risking only your own life. For the first time in this season of your life, you notice something. Your greatest enemy is no longer the Englishman across the field. It's the doubt inside you. Are we heading to the right bay? Will the weather hold? Are my men too tired? Leadership is not courage, it is calculation. And you are learning. The Jarl is dead. Not in battle, from illness. And before he died, in front of everyone, he placed his hand on your shoulder. "You, after me," he said. "And here you are now." The title of Jarl is not just power. The title of Jarl means being a constant target. Neighboring clans are testing you. Some of your own advisors are watching you sideways. Even your own son, still young, ambitious, impatient. Every decision you make as Jarl is political. Whom do you reward? To whom do you grant land? Which alliance do you forge? Which do you break? But at the same time, we are in one of the most turbulent periods in Scandinavian history. To the east, trade routes are opening along the rivers of Rus. To the west, England is vulnerable. To the south, the coasts of France lie open. You make a decision, you will not sit still. From north to south, from the shores of Norway to Normandy, your name spreads. The French royal court sits down at the negotiating table with you. They offer land. They want peace. And you accept. Because you now understand that the greatest victory is won not on the battlefield, but at the negotiating table. Your hands have begun to tremble. For so many years you crossed those cold waters, landed on those grim shores, suffered those losses. And now you sit here, on the shore of the fjord. Some Viking warriors went to Valhalla on the battlefield, sword in hand, eyes open. Perhaps you never had that chance. Perhaps you did. But you know this. When children sit around the great fire and old men tell stories, your name will be in those stories. Just as you once listened. Runes carved into stone do not fade. Sagas are passed down through generations. And in the Viking world, true death is to be forgotten. You were not forgotten. The skalds, the poets, told your story. Your grandchildren carried your sword. And your name still exists in the wind that blows over the frozen fjord. If you had been born in the Viking Age, perhaps this is what you would have become.